Conor McGregor hinted at retirement from the sport at a recent BKFC press conference, and we're going to check it out in this video. But that's not all. We have a lot to dissect, because not only did Conor McGregor hint at his retirement, all but admitted it, the very next day, Michael Chandler's coping about it, breaking down about it, and saying, man, Conor's still hungry. I think Conor's hungry. And I think, you know, his road back to the UFC runs through Nashville, Tennessee. And we're going to check out the interview with Michael Chandler literally the day after Conor says he's going to retire, essentially at the BKFC presser. But that's not all we're going to check out, because apparently Conor is retiring to chase after a career in politics. And last week he went to the White House. A lot of people asked me to react to this. There's a lot of things to kind of dissect in this video. We're going to start with that, but we're also going to check out a few other things, his prospects in politics. We're going to check out another BKFC presser from about a month ago that a lot of people did not highlight. We're going to talk about the one I hinted at in the beginning of the video. We're going to get to that. And then lastly, we're going to check out Michael Chandler coping over Conor McGregor's potential retirement. But let's jump into it. Let's start with the White House presser. Listen to the very first question very carefully. I just think it's kind of a hilarious hypocrisy that was pointed out for Conor that I didn't see really anybody talking about on Twitter. I don't know if there's people that covered it on YouTube or not, but I seen nobody really cover the hypocrisy and how Conor literally embarrassed himself in the first 30 seconds. And also, I might be crazy. I'm going to get your guys' opinion on it. I swear Conor damn near almost sexually assaulted this woman from the White House. He thought about it. He restrained himself. He had the devil and angel on his shoulders. But we're going to check that out in this video. I've seen nobody point that out either. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Where can you see it?
Hey, Conor. Oh. Hey.
Hey, Hey, Conor, first of all, did you get some time with President Trump? And also, I know there's some Irish immigrants in the U.S. without status. What do you think should happen to them?
What do you think should happen to the Irish immigrants without status in the United States? What should happen to them? Okay? All right, and this isn't a political video, but what should happen to Irish immigrants without status in the United States? Let's listen to Conor's answer, and then I want you to remember this for later in the video, later in this White House breakdown, which is only 2 minutes long, so we're going to get to it in a second.
The Irish immigrants.
There's some Irish immigrants, some recent.
The Irish immigrants, the white one, they're white, right? They're white ones, right? That's essentially what Conor said, that the Irish ones, right? The Irish ones.
Irish immigrants without status.
Are we taking questions?
Taking over the podium.
Ireland and America, we are siblings. We consider America our big sibling. So it's important for Ireland to have be a peaceful, happy, prosperous country for the 40 million Irish Americans to have a place to visit, to come back to their home. So we wish for our relationship with the United States to continue, and we wish to be taken care of by the big bro. You know, the United States should look after its little bro, and that's how we feel.
So the Irish immigrants should be taken care of by America, okay? And then we're going to hear what his main political platform is in Ireland in a second. But he gets a follow-up question, and he's made to look dumb. He's asked a serious question, and look, I'm not saying I know the answer to these questions or this question in particular, but Conor is supposedly running for office, and watch how stumped he gets by this question, and somebody, I'm assuming from the White House, has to jump in and save him.
What about, there's some trade disputes between the U.S. and the EU, and how do you think?
We wish exemption.
Look, he's paused and he doesn't know what to say, and then somebody jumps in to save him.
Hey, we actually have some stuff that we
I will
have to
say,
do right now.
Conor is here to meet with the president. He'll be meeting with him later this afternoon. We couldn't think of a better guest to have with us on St. Patrick's Day. We're both wearing our green. This was not planned.
Watch this.
But
right here. Look, Conor licks his lips. I swear on my life, gun to my head, was Conor thinking about sexually harassing this blonde woman here? I say yes, and I think I live. I need your guys' opinion on this. I swear he's about to grab her ass, and then he has to pull back and say, oh, never mind. I can't do this. I'm not going to sexually harass somebody in the White House. I'm telling you right now. Watch this.
Very festive. And as you know, I'll be having a briefing later at 1 o'clock.
Let me back that up. Let me back that up. Watch this. Look at this. He is ready to grab her. I'm telling you right now, he's ready to grab her ass. I'm telling you right now. Let's rewind it. Let's rewind it and hit it in slow-mo, okay? Let's hit it in a little bit of slow-mo. Nothing too crazy.
Green, this was not planned, but very festive. And as you know, I'll be...
And his hand was kind of open. You can't see it. It's a little bit cut off. But his hand was kind of open. So I think he was getting ready to commit another sexual assault, but this time on camera at the White House. He realizes it. He catches himself. His wife's not pregnant right now, so maybe he's waiting until she gets 9 months pregnant. But let's carry on. There's more to this. They step in to save him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Then he decides to go on a little bit more of a rant about Ireland and why he's running for office in Ireland.
Having a briefing later at 1 o'clock, so we'll talk more about their meeting later. But he's going over to meet with some other administration officials. He's spending the day in Washington, D.C.
For sure.
So
I'm here to
it'll be
raise
fun.
the issues that people of Ireland face. You know, and it'll be music to the people of Ireland's ears, because never on the main stage has the issues the people of Ireland face been spoke. You know, our government has long since abandoned the voices of the people of Ireland, and it's high time that America is made aware of what is going on in Ireland. What is going on in Ireland is a travesty. Our government is the government of zero action with zero accountability. You know, our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is running ravage on the country. There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop, that have become a minority in one swoop. So issues need to be addressed, and the 40 million Irish Americans, as I said, need to hear this, because if not, there will be no place to come home and visit. You know, Ireland.
So anyway, it's Conor complaining about immigration in Ireland, which I'm sure is an issue that has problems that need to be sorted out. I just find it hilarious in the beginning. He's asked about millions of Irish immigrants, and he's like, the Irish ones? Yeah, big bro, take care of little bro. But then he's like, man, these brown people coming into Ireland. And I don't know the extent of the problem. I know somebody's going to cry down in the comments. Joey this, Joey that. Woke this, liberal soy boy that. But it's just so funny that this, I feel like this will never get pointed out by, I don't think probably another soul in the entire MMA space has pointed this out yet. Maybe I'm wrong. And I just wanted to point it out. Irish American immigrants, good. They don't have status. Good. The Irish ones, the white ones. But then he goes on to launch into a diatribe. Apparently that's his main political platform, okay? Now, I was wondering, what is his legitimacy of potentially winning office in Ireland? I think it's probably virtually none. I don't think Ireland, the people of Ireland, like him. You know, civilly liable sexual assaulter, multi-time accused, punching old men in bars, you know, doing everything under the sun, cheating on his wife openly, constantly drunk and doing cocaine, constantly in trouble. But luckily, I don't have to give my opinion because we have some information here from Sky News. Let's listen to this.
To enter the electoral octagon, Conor McGregor needs the backing of 20 members of the Irish Parliament. There are 234 in total across two houses, so we contacted them all. 134 got back to us, and of those, 0 said they would support a McGregor run. Not a hope in hell, said one cabinet minister. Others described McGregor as a tacky, moronic vulgarian and a populist buffoon. Couldn't think of anyone worse, said one, while another added, on behalf of the women of Ireland, he can f*** off. We asked Conor McGregor's spokesperson for a response.
And they got no response. So it doesn't seem like his political prospects are very bright in Ireland. And, you know, as long as I've been doing this channel, every person, and this is just anecdotal. I mean, obviously, this is a much wider thing than just my personal experience. Every person I've ever heard from that lives in Ireland is like, I live in Ireland. Nobody likes Conor here. Everyone hates Conor because he embarrasses Ireland. By the way, let's jump back to this for 1 second. This entire charade, I think, is a complete embarrassment to not only Conor. I think it's an embarrassment to the UFC. I think it's an embarrassment to the United States. Imagine inviting a dude who was just found civilly liable of sexual assault and parading him around the White House like some type of hero. I think it's a complete embarrassment to the United States of America, and I think Conor is an embarrassment to Ireland as well. But that's a topic for a whole nother video that we could go on for 40 minutes on that. The next thing I want to show you, this is a clip of Conor McGregor leaving court after the verdict where he was found civilly liable. And I just wanted to include this because this is one of my favorite clips of all time. So I just decided, you know what, let me throw it in here.
Mr. McGregor, you're a rapist. What do you think?
What do you have to say?
That's how you know, guys, look, people are like, Joey's a contrarian. All Joey cares about is clicks and views and money and ad revenue. Look, that might get me demonetized right there. That might get me demonetized right there. But guess what? I don't care. I don't care. Let's listen to it again, just for good measure.
Mr. McGregor, you're a rapist. What do you think?
What do you have to say?
Dude, I could use that as a text tone. Mr. McGregor, you're a rapist. What do you think? I don't know. Conor never gave an answer. Next thing I want to check out. We're going to go back in time to an old video of mine. Okay, because people say, Joey, you brag about takes that you didn't even have, and then blah, 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 you try to act like you had takes, and then this and that. Look, there's earlier footage of this, but look at the title of this video. Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler will not happen. Let's give it an extra like. April 30th, 2023. And I'm just going to let the video speak for itself. So there you have Conor McGregor chugging his proper 12 in the crowd at BKFC. And the reason I wanted to show this clip, even though it's not incredibly meaningful, what I wanted to point out, does this look like a guy who has a fight coming up in 4, 5, 6 months? Does it look like a guy, he's out there just drinking in the crowd? And we've seen other clips of him, which I'm not even going to play in this video. We've seen him recently at the Tank boxing match. We've seen him at the casino afterwards, drunk, acting crazy, gambling. Does that seem like a guy who's returning from a catastrophic leg break injury and returning for one of the biggest fights of his career against Michael Chandler after The Ultimate Fighter? It doesn't seem like it to me. Doesn't seem like it to me. April 30th, 2023. Look at that. April 30th, 2023. I mean, that's one of countless videos that I've been slandered back in 2023 for saying it would never happen. Slandered in 2024 when I said the fight was off. But let's carry on. We have this post. I researched this post, and I don't know what I'm missing here, because I really wanted to use this as a pillar of the video just to dunk on Chandler, but I can't. I got to be honest, I can't. Michael Chandler said he's planning to call out Conor McGregor at UFC 314. Quote, I'm going to do my job on April 12th, and I'll call out Conor again. I get made fun of no matter what. I want to see him be a man of his word. If he comes back this year, I'm fighting him. I couldn't find the source for this. I looked for this. This sounds exactly what something Chandler would say, and maybe he said it somewhere. He didn't say this specific sentence in the interview with the Schmo. So I don't know where this came from. I don't know where this came from. It sounds like something Chandler would say. I can't verify the source. If somebody can, I would find different websites, but they would never cite a source. So I couldn't find a clip. I couldn't find a tweet. Maybe it's a tweet. That's what I would assume. That maybe got deleted. But I could not find the source. But let's act like this is true. This dude's still hanging on to a Conor McGregor fight in mid-2025. I said 2024 for a second there. That's humiliating. So about a month ago, let's jump to this. About a month ago, there was a BKFC press conference. By the way, Conor looks different every time you see him. I don't know how he changes so much. And he was asked about potentially fighting at BKFC. This is not the one where he hints at retirement. This is something else. Let's listen to this.
Are you going to be fighting as well, or only promoting?
Yes, yes. The warrior spirit that burns inside me strongly. For sure. If you think I'm up here giving these speeches and leading these men into battle, and I won't step in there myself, think again. For sure, Conor McGregor will fight in bare knuckle fighting championship. Mark my words.
There you go. He plans on fighting in BKFC. Mark his words. Now, I do believe that scenario is more plausible than him ever fighting in the UFC again. I've been very vocal over the last two and a half years that I think Conor McGregor is waiting for a sunset clause, which means he can get out of his contract. We haven't confirmed when that is. We haven't even confirmed that he definitely has a sunset clause, but the chances are that he does. It was added at a certain point, I believe in 2017. He signed an update to his contract. Since then, you would automatically assume that he has a sunset clause. That's how Francis Ngannou got out of his contract, even though Dana and the UFC lied and said, we took Francis to more dinners and we cut him. We couldn't handle him anymore. But he wants to go fight in BKFC. I think that's highly more probable than him ever returning to the UFC. And he was asked, when's he going to fight? I think he specifically was asked about BKFC. But in his career overall, this was a week ago now. And again, I'll link all the sources down in the description like I always do. But this is Conor's answer now a week ago. By the way, look how different he looks. Looks completely different at this point. This is like 3 weeks apart. Let's listen to what he has to say now about his fighting career. Because it seems like he's retiring. It seems like he's moving on with his life. It seems like he's just going to stick to doing coke and drinking alcohol 24/7 and parading around as a famous person on his yacht. And it seems like he's done with fighting, with MMA, with potential bare knuckle boxing. I think he probably will fight in bare knuckle at some point. I don't think he's ever coming back to the UFC, but let's listen.
You keep saying that you're going to fight in bare knuckles, so when is it going to happen?
You know, like I said, I've got 2 fights on the contract. I'm in negotiations. Last week something happened to me. I went to the White House, and my country is in my, my heart bleeds for my country right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on back home. I'm happy with what I've done. You know, there's something else for me that's in my gut right now, and that's kind of where I'm going. So we'll see. Greatness don't rush. Also, greatness does not rush. There was an opportunity or a deal, we'll say, to fight in Alcatraz only recent. There's an event going on in Alcatraz in, I believe, June, and they came to me, and it wasn't my worth. You know, as a fighter, we've got to know our worth. I hold every pay-per-view record in the book. I hold every gate record in the book. And my comeback will be slated as the greatest comeback, or the biggest, most anticipated comeback of all time. So it has to be right. And right now, Ireland is in my thoughts, and that's where I'm at. It will happen, I'm sure. And it's always great to be here. And there you go.
It will happen, he's sure. But also, you brought up, I got 2 fights left on my deal. I've been highlighting that since 2023. Every time he's asked about a return, I got 2 fights left on my deal. I got 2 fights left on my deal. And then, did you catch what he said right after that? Let's go back. Let's listen to him. We're not going to listen to the whole thing again, but listen.
No, like I said, I've got 2 fights on the contract. I'm in negotiations. Last week something happened to me. I went to the White House, and my country is in my, my heart bleeds for my country right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on back home. I'm happy with what I've done. You know, there's something else for me that's in my gut right now.
I'm happy with what I've done. There's something else for me in my gut right now. It's alcohol and coke, but that's besides the point. Does that sound like a man that's going to be fighting anytime soon? It doesn't to me. And I've thought Conor's done for years. I thought he was done for years. I do believe at some point he will return to combat sports for like a one-off big payday. You're never going to see this. This guy's never going to put out like 2-3 fights ever again. He's definitely never fighting Michael Chandler. It will never happen. And I will take that victory lap for the rest of the time I'm on MMA YouTube, because I get criticized. You just don't like Chandler. Now we're all in agreement now. So I went from the 1% to now I'm in the 100%, because there's not a single person outside of Michael Chandler, maybe his family, who thinks he's going to fight Conor McGregor. But that leads me to the Schmo interview with Chandler. I want to move through this. We have a lot to get through. Okay, this is the last thing we're going to check out, is Chandler coping over the Conor McGregor fight. This dude still thinks there is hope that he's going to fight Conor McGregor. Conor's going to be a man of his word. Get your candy ass back in the cage. That's like 2 years ago now, guys. Where's the time gone? Let's listen.
Last night, Conor McGregor, he's here in South Florida. He was at the BKFC event. He kind of hinted at that maybe the fighting days are potentially over.
By the way, what are the chances Chandler does an interview literally the day after that Conor press conference, by the way?
Focusing on being the president of Ireland. You still want to fight that man. Maybe you're going to have to go to bare knuckle to get your opportunity. What are we going to do here?
Yeah, I didn't know he was in South Florida. Didn't know he was a bare knuckle. Didn't know any of that stuff. Obviously, I'm
definitely not stalking him. Didn't know he was in South Florida. Didn't know he was at bare knuckle. Didn't know anything about Conor. I don't stalk him on Instagram. Is he lifting heavyweights? I don't know.
I'm covered up in training camp. Yeah, I mean, he's making that push for the president of Ireland. You know, we'll see how true it is, how real it is, how much of a publicity stunt it is. As you guys can see, obviously, you know, we had the tough 31 deal, waited for Conor for a little bit, got the fight booked, he pulled out of the fight. Who knows if he's ever coming back? But you can see by my actions, fighting Oliveira in November and now Paddy in April, I'm not sitting around waiting for Conor.
You were. You don't make it seem like you weren't. You waited 2 years. You waited 2 years for Conor, buddy, in your late 30s. Who could have possibly thought that was a mistake? Who could have possibly thought that was a mistake? Wonder who could have.
He knows his road back to the UFC goes through me. We have to finish the Ultimate Fighter 31. We still have a contract with both.
Oh, my God. Did you guys hear this?
November and now Paddy in April. I'm not sitting around waiting for Conor. He knows his road back to the UFC goes through me. We have to finish the Ultimate Fighter 31. We still have a contract with both of our names on it, even though he was not a man of his word in showing up.
Nobody cares about the Ultimate Fighter 31. If Conor does return to the UFC, I don't think he's fighting Chandler. I think he would fight someone else, maybe like a Nick Diaz or a Nate Diaz, the people Colby's calling out. But yeah, man, with Tough 31, everyone's pining to see the finale. No. By the way, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to subscribe, like the video, turn on notifications. I would greatly appreciate it.
First time he has ever pulled out of a fight was against me in his entire career. So I don't think he wants that to be his legacy. However, if he does, I wish him well in his presidency run in Ireland. And but if he comes back to the UFC, he's got to fight me.
If he steps foot inside a cage again, it has to be against Iron Michael Chandler.
I think so. I mean, I'm campaigning for that. Obviously, I want that chapter of my life to be closed.
Let it go. Let it go. He should have said, Conor's a drunk cokehead rapist. I don't care what he does. He's already retired. I retired him. How hard is it? Why it runs through Nashville? If I hear him say, Conor McGregor's return to the UFC runs through Nashville, Tennessee, I don't even know. I can't even think of something ridiculous to even say there. I want to jump through the screen when I hear that.
I'm not sitting here saying I'm entitled to it. Nobody's entitled to anything ever in life. But I will say, obviously, you know, being a man of your word, signing your name to the dotted line is something that I take very seriously. You know, your word is your bond, and without your word, you're no good. So,
does anyone find it hilarious? Chandler sits here and preaches about when you give your word, you got to be a man. Your word's your bond. This dude cheats in every fucking fight. He cheated mercilessly in the Charles Oliveira fight. This dude's recently taking victory laps, and I wanted to include it, but I didn't want to make this a 40-minute video. He's taking victory laps because he had Charles Oliveira on his back and he was jumping backwards. It's like, man, Elon Musk loved it. Kid Rock was enjoying it so much. You did nothing. You just look like an idiot after getting dominated and then cheating nonstop. But let's carry on. There's a little bit more to this.
We'll see. I mean, I think it's a fight people want to see. I think it's a fight that even the people who kind of are like over it, you know, quote unquote, over the whole Chandler versus McGregor Ultimate Fighter saga thing, it's still a fight that people want to see.
Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it, buddy.
I'm still the guy who puts butts in seats and sells pay-per-views. I'm still the guy who is at the top of the ticket every single time I fight. And somehow, win, lose, or draw, I'm in fight of the night, fight of the year, performance of the night, does not matter. So I've got the resume to speak of. He's got the following, and I think he's also got the hunger.
What resume does he have? He has 2 wins. One of them is Tony Ferguson, that he was losing the first round. He beat Tony Ferguson like 17 years ago. And then I kind of stepped on it a little bit. He believes Conor's still hungry. Give me a break, bro.
He's also got the hunger to come back, even though everybody has written him off. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, Chandler. I got a sneaking suspicion I know how this one ends. I got a sneaking suspicion. Yeah, man, Conor's hungry to return. He's going to be a man of his word. He's got to step in the cage. We got to finish the Ultimate Fighter 31. If he gets slumped by Paddy Pimblett, I am going to have a fucking field day, boys. This guy has annoyed me so much. You know, he's teasing fight dates when he knows absolutely nothing, man. He's lied to the fans over and over and over again, and he's a dirty fighter. Like, if I'm Paddy, he better be training to avoid illegal shots. Next thing you know, Chandler's going to be giving him an oil check mid-fight. He hasn't broke that one out yet. He's going to give him an oil check followed by a fish hook to himself. But to sum all this up, good thing that Chandler's finally moved on. Now he's fighting Paddy. You know, essentially trying to give Paddy the easiest top 10 matchup. Chandler does not belong in the top 15 of the lightweight division. The rankings are flawed. His last win was Tony Ferguson. His last win is fighting in GFL against Dylan Dennis. GFL, that's his last win. He's got 2 wins in the UFC. The other one's Dan Hooker, which is aged decently. I think he loses a rematch. And he's still talking about Conor. Just get Conor's dick out of your mouth, dude. Conor's not coming back to fight you. And Conor's going to have a failed run at Ireland's presidency in which he has no support. If you're from Ireland and you have a different perspective about Conor's potential support in your country, please feel free to share it down in the comments. But yeah, Conor has embarrassed himself over and over and over again. He's embarrassed his family. Chandler left his family in early 2023 for a mythical fight at a mythical weight class that's never actually going to happen. And now he's still talking about him with the schmo. I know people are still asking about him, but I already gave you the answer he should have gave. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Conor is done with the UFC. If he does not fight this year, he guaranteed will never fight in the UFC, and he does not seem like he's keen on a comeback. Let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.